The night Jesus was born did not feel holy, it felt cold. The roads around Bethlehem were swollen with travelers answering the decree of Caesar Augustus. Roman soldiers barked orders through crowded streets while merchants argued beside firelit stalls. Animals cried in cramped courtyards. Dust drifted through the winter air. No one looked twice at the young couple arriving late. Joseph walked carefully beside the donkey carrying Mary. His face carried exhaustion beyond his years. He had spent the entire journey watching the shadows around them, as though danger might emerge from every roadside hill. Mary barely spoke. Her hands rested over the child still inside her, and every painful breath reminded her that time was running out. They searched for shelter beneath fading lantern light. Every inn was full, every doorway closed. Some turned them away politely, others did not. By nightfall, Joseph accepted what pride resisted. A stable behind a crowded lodging house became their refuge. The smell of hay and animals filled the darkness. The walls were rough stone. Wind slipped through cracks overhead. And there, beneath the noise of the Roman world, Jesus was born. No trumpet announced him. No palace opened its gates. Only the quiet breathing of animals and the trembling tears of a frightened mother witnessed the beginning. Mary wrapped the infant carefully in cloth and held him against her chest. Joseph watched in silence. Outside, Bethlehem slept, unaware that history had already changed. Far from the stable, shepherds guarded their flocks against wolves under a black Judean sky. Their lives were simple and harsh. Most were ignored by society. Many were considered unclean by religious elites. Yet those men would become the first witnesses. A strange light appeared across the hills. At first they thought it was fire. Then the sky itself seemed to open. The shepherds fell to the ground in terror as voices echoed through the night air. The words were unlike anything spoken by man. The hills trembled with sound, both beautiful and overwhelming. When silence finally returned, fear remained frozen across their faces. One shepherd stood slowly. "We must go," he whispered. They hurried toward Bethlehem, carrying confusion, terror, and wonder. When they entered the stable and saw the child sleeping beside Mary, none of them fully understood why tears filled their eyes. But they knew. Something impossible had entered the world. Days later, another journey began. In Jerusalem, powerful men studied the heavens with growing unease. Strange celestial signs had appeared over Judea. Ancient prophecies whispered through the halls of scholars and priests. Wise men from the east arrived carrying gifts and questions. Their camels passed beneath Roman gates while rumors spread quickly through the city. "Where is the child born King of the Jews?" The question traveled like poison, because another king already sat on the throne. Herod, old, paranoid, and drowning in fear. The ruler of Judea trusted no one. He had executed rivals, family members, even his own sons to protect his crown. Age had not weakened his cruelty, it had sharpened it. When Herod heard of the child, something dark awakened behind his eyes. He summoned priests and scholars immediately. Ancient scrolls were unrolled across candlelit chambers. Prophecies from generations earlier pointed toward Bethlehem. Herod listened carefully, then he smiled. But the smile never reached his eyes. He ordered the wise men to find the child and return with his location. "I too wish to worship him," he lied. The wise men departed beneath the stars. When they finally reached Bethlehem, the sight before them was not what they expected. No royal court, no army, only a humble child resting beside weary parents. Yet something about the room felt heavier than power itself. They bowed. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh were placed before the child. Mary watched quietly while Joseph remained alert, uneasy about strangers arriving in secrecy. That night, the travelers dreamed disturbing visions warning them not to return to Herod. By morning, they vanished eastward. Herod waited. Days passed. No word came. Then rage consumed him. The palace erupted with screams as orders spread through Jerusalem. Soldiers rode toward Bethlehem under cover of dawn. Every male child under 2 years old was marked for death. Mothers ran through the streets carrying infants in desperation. Doors were broken open, cries echoed through alleyways while Roman steel flashed beneath morning light. Bethlehem became a place of horror. But before the soldiers arrived, Joseph had awakened suddenly from a terrifying dream. An urgent warning filled his mind. Take the child and flee. Now, there was no time to hesitate. Mary gathered Jesus while Joseph loaded supplies in darkness. They escaped the village quietly, disappearing south toward Egypt while Bethlehem burned behind them. The journey through the wilderness nearly killed them. Cold nights froze their hands. Bandits roamed desert roads. Food became scarce. Mary often walked for hours carrying Jesus against her chest, while Joseph searched endlessly for safe passage. The child slept through most of it, too young to understand the bloodshed left behind because of him. In Egypt, they became strangers among strangers. Years passed quietly there. Jesus grew beneath foreign skies while Rome tightened its grip across Judea. Rebellions rose and collapsed. Crucifixions lined the roads outside cities as warnings to anyone daring to resist imperial rule. Meanwhile, in Nazareth, ordinary life eventually returned after Herod's death. Joseph brought his family home cautiously. Nazareth was small, poor, and easily forgotten. Dust-covered homes clung to rocky hillsides. Farmers worked hard soil beneath scorching sun. Roman taxes crushed families already struggling to survive. Jesus grew up among laborers. He learned Joseph's trade. Wood shavings covered workshop floors while hammers echoed through narrow streets. Villagers saw him as quiet, observant, different somehow, but still ordinary. Mary noticed more. Sometimes she caught him staring into the distance for long periods, as though listening to something no one else could hear. Sometimes elders in the synagogue paused unexpectedly when the boy spoke. There was wisdom in him that frightened people. At 12 years old, Jesus traveled with his family to Jerusalem during Passover. Pilgrims flooded the holy city from every direction. The temple towered above them in white stone and gold brilliance. To Jewish families, the temple represented the center of the world itself. Sacrifices burned day and night. Priests moved through massive courtyards dressed in sacred garments. Roman soldiers watched everything from nearby fortress walls. After the festival ended, caravans departed Jerusalem in long groups, stretching across desert roads. Somewhere along the journey, Mary realized Jesus was gone. Panic struck instantly. Joseph searched among relatives and travelers, but the boy had vanished. For 3 agonizing days, they searched Jerusalem. Finally, they found him inside the temple courts, not hiding, teaching. Elder scholars sat around him in stunned silence, while the 12-year-old asked questions and answered others with astonishing understanding. Mary rushed toward him, overwhelmed with relief and anger. "Why have you done this to us?" Jesus looked at her calmly. "Did you not know I must be in my Father's house?" The words unsettled her deeply, because for a moment, it felt as though the child standing before her belonged to something beyond family, beyond Nazareth, beyond the world she understood. They returned home, and silence followed. For nearly 2 decades, history says almost nothing about him. No miracles recorded, no sermons, no crowds, only mystery. While emperors ruled and armies marched, Jesus lived quietly in obscurity. But across Judea, pressure was building. Rome grew harsher. Religious corruption spread through the temple elite. Prophets wandered the wilderness preaching judgment. People whispered constantly about deliverance, about a coming kingdom, about the Messiah. And somewhere in Nazareth, the carpenter waited. not as a king surrounded by armies, not as a priest clothed in gold, but as a man walking dusty roads beneath the same burning sun as everyone else. The world did not yet know his name, but history was already moving toward him, like a storm gathering over the desert. And soon, silence would end.